Hello and welcome. Yeah, the comments isn't
Oh,
even popping up for me.
oh, we're live. Okay.
Oh,
Hello.
Hi, I'm Candace with a Geeky Waffle, and will you guys introduce yourselves?
yeah, I'm Arzu from the website arzud2.com.
Yay. I'm Laura. Laura Cole. I'm a Rose Tico cosplayer, and I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, and we're so excited to talk to you guys. Also, remember we're raising money for Make-A-Wish. Your donations will directly fund critically ill children. You can donate with a link in the chat, and Get Vocal will donate 33% of all donations made with their Get Vocal V coin. Just click on the blue diamond. Oh yeah, and people are saying you look amazing, Laura.
Oh, thank you. I can't read the
Yes,
comments. I really wish. Thank you.
okay, I'm just gonna keep telling you things.
Read the comments out to you.
I know it's so sad. I wanted to say hi to everyone, but it's just not popping up for me.
Yeah, but we would like to say thank you all for coming. We have a lot of feelings about Rose Tico, so let's just go straight into this panel and hope that my co-host Bree will eventually join in. So let's talk about when Rose was introduced and cast. Kelly was the first time we saw her was in Celebration in Orlando, April 14th, 2017. I have the exact date. And I'm half Indian. And growing up with Star Wars, really, well, for a little while, the only women that we had were Padme and Leia, who were great, and I love them. Leia is my role model for life. But finally having an Asian actor on screen, actress, just like it meant a lot to us, or just like even a woman of color.
Mm-hmm. It definitely to me felt like a step in the right direction.
Yeah, when they first, I was watching it because I couldn't go fly out that weekend, but I was watching it, and Kelly came on, and I was so excited because it's like, oh my god, and it's an Asian American woman, and she was like, oh, I'm gonna show you my first picture. So they posted her first picture, and then it was this and Kelly, everyone says me, it's just great to see an Asian person, and not only that, it's like we look, we're both Southeast Asian, and they posted her picture. So the first thing I did immediately, because I have bangs, I quickly put together a quick cosplay, and I posed exactly the same way, and I posted it because I was just so proud and so excited to see that someone's finally here that looked like us.
Did you also did all your friends who know you love Star Wars just message you the
Everyone messaged me.
Because that's what happened with me too.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, Candace, did you hear? And I was like, of course I heard. I was watching.
Yeah. Everyone was like, "Oh my god, Laura! Like you're totally gonna cosplay this person." I'm like, "Yeah," because it's finally someone that we get to just be. It's just
yeah.
I get to be that person. You get to embody that completely. I don't have to do much, and just be myself and just feel welcomed.
Definitely. And let's talk a little bit about the Rose Tico character. So she's kind of she would be an extra in any other movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's a maidenance character. And it's kind of like the everyday person who steps up, and that's kind of what Star Wars sometimes is.
Yeah,
it's not a Jedi. Yeah,
That's where it starts, because I think people sometimes get lost in the big picture of things. Like, it's these grand heroes on these grand adventures, forgetting that there's all these other people in the galaxy whose lives are affected by everything going on, who play a role in all of this. And it was nice to see one of those people who just, works behind pipes all day is now part of the larger narrative. So just in that character aspect, that's what I really love about Rose.
Yeah, Rose is just your everyday person who becomes a hero, and that's what the whole premise of like The Last Jedi was like. Nobodies could become somebodies, and um, I just love the idea that like a mechanic, like an engineer, is who is in the back forefront who came because they cared about the rebellion, and then they become a real like a leader in the rebellion after so much tragedy in their lives. And so it's great too that we got to see her just grow as a person and as a leader.
Yeah, something else I really like just about her character is we see so many random, just like people just dying. People die for the rebellion, they die for the empire, resistance, etc. And we actually see the fallout of like one of those fighter pilots, her sister,
Mm-hmm.
passing away. And Spirit coming, come on, fingers crossed, fingers crossed, fingers crossed. And I don't see anything. It's just a gray screen.
So, Paige Tico, I have a sister. So my older sister, who I'm super close to, like when they had first announced the Tico sisters, I told my sister, who is not a Star Wars fan, but I told her, doesn't matter. You're dressing up as Paige Tico. I'm gonna be Rose, and we're sisters. We're gonna show this bond. And then I saw the movie, and I told my sister, I'm like, like my sister was like, does she die? I'm like, you know what? They have this bond, and the thing is, like when Paige passed, it didn't push a man's narrative. It was her sister, another woman of color, and it was nice to see that Rose mourned for her too, because we don't get to see a lot of characters like mourning for anyone, and it was nice to see that like Rose, had that that moment, where we knew it's like that closeness.
Yeah, she was crying and she was reacting, and it humanized her, and it humanizes the whole concept of a war in the stars.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It fuels her through the whole movie too, because anytime Poe or Finn does something that Rose feels is holding them back, that's her drive to get them to keep going, because like if we're not going to see this all the way through, then what did my sister die for?
Yeah.
Right. So that sort of pushes her through the whole thing.
So, okay, so it's probably Bree's mic. So I'm just like, oh, technology. So originally, Rian Johnson had. Oh, Hope's not supposed to be a panelist, Courtney. I mean, she could be because she got opinions. So Rian Johnson originally was just going to have Finn and Poe at Canto Bight, but then he says it was just these two dudes on an adventure, and I knew there was something wrong when I can just interchange their dialogue.
There you go.
Yeah, and there wasn't a conflict between them. So they needed someone to challenge Finn, and Rose definitely does that.
Yeah, Ryan is so great. He in every movie he does make sure he adds like some people of color, like a little Looper had an Asian woman, Brick had like an Asian woman, and I like that he thought about us, and he made sure it wasn't just because you could get anyone to be like a mechanic and a character, but I'm really happy that he really wanted a woman of color to take this role as Rose Tico, because Tico could be anything, and it's great that he was like, no, I want an Asian American woman or Asian person to play this role, and that meant a lot.
Yeah, he said that he didn't really envision anyone specific for the role, but once he saw Kelly, there was just something about her that was a general all bad nature and a real sweetness to her. And she has the most open heart of anyone he's ever met, and that was going to shine on screen. And I definitely feel like it did. Also, did you know that Carrie Fisher inspired the Rose and Paige necklace?
I did not.
No.
Yes. In rehearsals, Carrie grabbed Ryan's arm and told him with great urgency that we needed space jewelry. So it's Carrie's idea.
Which would explain Leia's jewelry and Holdo's jewelry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just love that it was like an interconnection, like of like just a yin and yang kind of thing. It's like it's like best friends, but like it felt like I don't know. It felt nice that it had some because like Star Wars is based on like Asian like like philosophies and culture, so it's kind of nice to see that it's kind of brought together.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. And okay, let's talk about the fallout. I don't want to talk about this part. It makes me sad.
I know.
So Tran received online racist attacks over her portrayal of Rose Tico, including vandalism to her Wikipedia page.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was big, guys.
It was.
And it was like super racist kind of things. And thank you, David. Yes.
Yeah, no, it was even before the movie came out and people were like, why is, and it's like, oh my God, the movie hasn't even come out, guys. Like,
don't even
like people are so excited. Like, why bring people down when they're just like so excited and happy to see themselves? Like it just drove me crazy because I like as a cosplayer too, like people think that you're that person, so they always have to comment underneath. So it's like every time I
hate the character, but you look great, kind of thing.
Yeah, like yeah.
Why is that necessary?
Or like I post a picture and they go like useless, and I'm just like, no one asked your opinion. I don't know you, and it's just it's aggravating, and to think, and I think it's 100 times worse for Kelly, who is so excited and actress in like to be part of this world and excited and to see all these comments and she didn't deserve that, and she's such a sweet person and it's just crazy that this like all this hate is happening to her and no one has even seen her on screen, and this is her first big break, and
this is her first movie.
Yeah, it's her first movie, and it's like to get all this, and it hurts me just thinking about it for her because it's like she didn't deserve this.
Sorry, my dog's getting really mad about that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can
Bucky's not happy about it either.
Yeah.
No, Bucky is not happy about it. Somebody went by the door. But yeah, like Sherry said, in the chat, Ahmed Best, who played Jar Jar, got so much hate to the point where he was suicidal at one point. And it's just the actors also aren't the characters.
Yeah.
Which people need to separate more. But something, just like a little fact to just put in perspective. In 2016, 6% of the roles have Asian American actresses in Hollywood.
Yeah.
So, or just like had a speaking role in a top 100 grossing film.
Yeah. And then let's not talk about the stereotypes of that percentage too.
Exactly. That's a whole.
Yeah.
That's actually a really good question we got on Twitter from, let me see here. Sorry, I'm skipping ahead a little bit. But Mitch Bell said, no. Where did it go? Oh, Jedi Freakia says, much has been made about how plain she was, practical, really. Do you think it's because of the way she was dressed? Because she wasn't there for male for the male gaze?
I have thoughts on that.
Yeah.
So I think partially, yes, because she's not. So I have things about like the male gaze in Star Wars anyway, which is a conversation for another day. But I think partially, yes, that she wasn't there to be ogled at. Probably some of the reaction. And I also think too that there seems to be a mentality among the toxic fans who went after Kelly that I hate hearing this, like I don't care what color they are as long as they're right for the part, and which seems to exclude the fact that maybe she is right for the part. Her being an Asian American woman necessarily means she isn't right for the part. So I think it was those two things coming together that not only does she have the audacity to be a woman of color, but she's not even there to be ogled by the men in the audience. So what is her purpose?
And like Laura was saying, there's those stereotypes and tropes of Asian women in film. I mean, just look at the Fantastic Beasts, Crime of Grindelwald. The only Asian character literally turns into a snake. She's a snake woman.
Yeah.
And she's only there to support the white male character. So that's a recent issue.
Well, what drives me crazy is that George Lucas was inspired by like Japanese and Asian like culture to create Star Wars. So why use our philosophy and way of life and not our people? So I always tell people, I'm like, it's about time for for us to take, like back to the philosophies and everything that he did the Star Wars basis on, like, and Kelly, and it was just for me. I'm like, I like that Asians are kind of coming in and taking the roles. And every time people say like, oh, I just want whoever fit. I'm like, you know what? It's based on Asian principles, so our people should like be in this movie.
Yeah, and so something that Kelly wrote, and she wrote for the New York Times column, and she says it reinforced a narrative I've heard my whole life, that I was other, that I didn't belong, and I wasn't good enough simply because I wasn't like them. And it's another thing. It's like, I want to live in a world where children of color don't spend their entire adolescence wishing to be white. And I want to live in a world where women are not subjected to the scrutiny for their appearance or their actions or their general existence. So she's all about more love, less hate. She's very eloquent. I highly suggest everyone reading the full column.
It's such a great article. No,
definitely, yeah. No, just as someone who passes for white, and it felt like people just wanted you to be white. Do you know what this is going my whole childhood traumas and stuff like that. But yeah, so her words really spoke to all of us.
Yeah.
Because we're all like, we get this. We understand that.
Yeah. Yeah. It was great because she used her full name, Loan and Luan, and it's nice because as Asian Americans, like, we have other names, and it's great that Kelly got to reclaim hers. Oops. Ignore that.
Yeah. Like, I don't use my full name and my Indian name and stuff like that because it's hard enough to spell Candace as it is apparently at Starbucks. So why? So, okay, let's talk about the expanding universe. So there's some stuff, just let's lighthearted up a little bit.
Yeah.
So there's some books that take in between the place. Like, one of them is a young adult novel called Sparks of the Resistance, and she names all the porgs in it. And I love that about her.
She loves her porgs. And like Kelly Marie Tran loves her porgs so much. So like just her getting to name the kids all the porgs in the book, I was just like, Kelly would love this. Like, Kelly probably read it and be like, yes, I would do this.
Yes, and then and she has adventures with Poe, Fen, and Ray. And I'm like, yeah, let's get that foursome together and go out and have adventures. And do you guys want to talk about?
Well, I was going to say, on the note of expanded stuff, is that if anybody likes Rose as a character and likes her dynamic with her sister, then I highly recommend the Age of Resistance comic, the Rose Tico comic. Highly recommend. It's absolutely beautiful. It's the only one that made me cry. So please read that one.
Yeah, there's just so much. There's so many. Like, I have a lot of the books, and it's great to expand her story and understand where she's coming from, especially Cobalt Squadron, and she has her own little resistance. It's great to just read her backstory and then understand for The Last Jedi when we were watching it.
Yeah, like where she's coming from.
Yeah.
You guys want to talk about Rise of Skywalker?
Do we
Okay.
have to?
Let's do it.
I mean, it's on our outline list, so we have to talk about it.
Let's do it. Now's as good a time as any.
So
Okay.
somebody did the math, and she is in this 2-hour and 22-minute movie for 1 minute and 16 seconds.
Okay. On this note, Hope has the question in the comments. What would you guys have changed in Tross to include Rosemore?
Okay, guys, we're gonna get controversial here. It's gonna get real.
Just get rid of the slug.
Claude, salt him. Just
throw that slug away.
Exterminate him. Put him away.
Whatever Claude is doing, Rose can do, because Rose is also a mechanic. And,
Dominic,
already a character.
Dominic Monaghan doesn't not need. No need.
Do you guys know how he got the part? He made a soccer bet with J.J. Abrams, and he won. So he had to be included in the Star Wars movie.
See, I understand the inclination to want to put your friends in the Star Wars movie if you're directing it. Like, if I was directing a movie, yeah, I would throw my friends in the back. Like, you be a resistance fighter, you go stand with the First Order. But I am not going to move one of the characters who was in the last movie out of the way in favor of one of my friends. I don't care if my friend is a professional actor.
Yeah.
But the logic, there is no logic, really. But so get rid of
No, there isn't.
And
Brie put in the chat, down with the slug and JJ's friends. Yeah.
Like I feel like they could have just like put her in the adventure with them. She could have been on that raft. Like, they can fly now?
Okay.
Redistribute some of everybody else's dialogue to her. Maybe I love C-3PO, but maybe give him a little less to say. Maybe Rose has been doing research and she's got some information. So that
she could have been like, oh, well, this is one of my hobbies.
Yeah.
Since,
I like
or maybe my sister liked it.
None.
Rose
so I've been reading her stuff.
Rose did not risk her life in The Last Jedi for Finn to only leave him in The Rise of Skywalker when he went off on his own.
Oh, my favorite part, when Finn's like, hey, Rose, do you want to come be in the movie? And she's like, nah, I'm good. I'm going to stand in front of a computer and not on camera.
So we find out in the books, the novelizations, is that she's a commander now. Mm-hmm. She's Commander Tico. We don't know that in the movie, I don't think. So she is leader of the engineering corps. Leia made her that, so that's exciting. But okay, so she can't go on the adventure because Leia asked her to look at the Star Wars destroyers. And yes, Sherry, she did. So, but the thing is, they say the Leia scenes didn't work with her and Rose, but Chris, the screenwriter, has many different versions of this story. At first, he says that there was issues with photorealism of the scenes between Kelly and Leia, because, as we know, Carrie Fisher passed away, and they were trying to include her in the final movie. And it said that, he said that the photorealism didn't look right. We adore Kelly so much that we anchored her to our favorite person in this galaxy, Leia. But then, in the next interview, like a week later, he says, if the visual effects department could have done it, they could have made it look great. We just didn't actually send it to the VFX people. And I'm like, what's your story, Chris?
Not only that, like, we all love Carrie Fisher on this panel. We all miss her very dearly. But the thing is, going into The Rise of Skywalker, there you go. Like, going into The Rise of Skywalker, you know you don't have Carrie there. You know all you have is your leftover footage. So even if you wanted to have Rose with your favorite person in the galaxy, you cannot hinge an entire character's plot on the availability of Carrie Fisher footage. Because you know, anybody with a contingency plan would be like, well, what if that doesn't work? If you want her to have some scenes with Leia, fine, but her whole plot can't be dependent on Leia, because then if that footage doesn't work, then you have eliminated an entire character from your story. So, it's either they're masking it under this and they just didn't want her in the movie for whatever reason, or it's extremely poor planning for a multi-million-dollar movie.
Well, there's a rumor that she had a whole speech and a rally call throughout in a speech during the during the like a scene, and then she gets to do like kind of like rallies up support, and then I heard, and then it was cut, and I'm kind of wondering what the heck, like, and why isn't that in the deleted scenes? Like, why can't we have this even in
there are no deleted scenes, like, which makes me think that this is like a cut and paste project. Which is rude. I'm sorry. I know there are people out there that like this movie, and I don't mean to keep roasting it at every opportunity. But
there's some good things about Rise of Skywalker. I do like. I do that.
There are bits and pieces I like. In any mess, there are things in the mess that are nice, but it's things like this that make it feel very cut and paste, which is a shame for the end of the story.
Yeah. Okay. So Lauren brings up. Yes, something in my notes that we have. There was a scene with Rose and Rey together. And Kelly actually says, I think it's really cool that there are even scenes together because in Jedi, we weren't in scenes together. It was cool to have a feminine energy on set. I wish I could tell you more, but I'm excited for people to see Rose and Rey interact. They both have the same objective, which is to fight for things you believe in, the people you love. And I remember seeing the photo of the two of them together in Entertainment Weekly, and
it was one of the
I was like, "Yeah, girl power!"
I was so excited I was so excited. That's how I got like my costume all get ready, and I'm like, oh my god, like they finally get to interact, and it was just heartbreaking to not find it and not see it. I was waiting.
Yeah. A couple of the comments I want to address real quick. Design guy, it's totally cool that some people like it. I get that. I have a lot of strong feelings, but like my entire family likes it, so I get no sympathy at home anyway. So that, and then Matthew, yes, it's true. They told that story like it was a joke that he got a big part in the movie because he won a soccer bet. Like, isn't this funny? It's not funny because you sidelined a woman of color for it. So
yeah.
And it's kind of hard not to take it personally. You know, like it felt like they were giving into the haters.
It did.
Like they were winning in a way, saying, yeah, no, we agree. She shouldn't be a character. We're just putting her to the side.
There's a comment a lot of people say, for better or worse, when they say it's like an ugly movie. No, I want to just put it out there. Nobody is talking aesthetically. It looks really cool. What they mean is decisions like this to sideline a woman of color, to give brand new white guys who weren't here before way more speaking roles, who give a part to a slug in lieu of a woman of color. It's ugly in that it feels very mean-spirited. Even if that wasn't the intention, like there are people who can act. Like, that's a good idea. So it's ugly on the inside, not on the outside.
We've been invested in Rose Tico, and Kelly went through all this stuff like with the article and stuff, and to only see her get sidelined after all that everyone has been through with the bullying and everything, it's painful to know that she could have had more when we saw like these other guys like come in that we have no investment in. I have no idea what their names are. Like just to and it took away from her. Like I get JJ wants to help his friends out and stuff, and like they come in, but it's also like this missing a character that has been built up already.
That was the thing that I honestly was nervous before Rise of Skywalker happened, because I saw the characters he was going to introduce, like Carrie Russell, who of course I love, but she's another white brunette. And as a half white brunette person, I'm like, enough is enough. And it was just like, I don't know. It just like, I did have some like apprehensions going in, and I'm glad I did, because I would have been so sad otherwise.
Yeah.
It was like I like Carrie Russell, I really, really do. And the aesthetic of Kijimi is really cool, and her costume is really cool, but that was another one of those decisions. I'm like, is this where we want to put our focus? In the last story I think it was Chris Terrio saying that, well, we don't know anything about Poe. What's Poe like? I'm like, there are 36 issues of a comic book. You are more than welcome to
You
pick
know.
up and look at. There's Before the Awakening, which covers some of his childhood. You can read that comic book. I can't remember the name now.
They didn't read it.
What?
They didn't read it.
Clearly, they didn't. I don't know what extraneous. Thank you, Matthew. Shattered Empire. That's what the comic's called, about Poe's parents. You can go read that. Like, I don't know what they were reading to prepare for this, but like, they could have had a better curated list, because Poe Dameron's backstory in the finale of the Skywalker saga is not something we needed to focus on. I get that we needed to go somewhere to do X thing so we can get to Y place, but then to reintroduce Zori and then to have that whole thing with Poe, oh, you were a Spicer, and it's like, well, now we have to talk about this for 10 minutes.
No, they just wanted to show that he was straight or pan or whatever. Like, they just wanted to go, hey, he liked women. And it's like, you know, we didn't need that, just because you guys, a lot of people don't want the Finpo thing, even though it's still in pilot. But like, it was unnecessary. Just, and they could have had. I feel like Rose could have played a role, like just being with them too, because she's smart, you know. And like, Rose didn't.
She could have done the droid thing.
Yeah.
Even if she couldn't do the droid thing, she didn't grow up in the like Poe is said to me anyway. He always seemed like such one of those kids who like grew up within the establishment. So that's his whole thing. So like, he grew up there. Finn's a stormtrooper. Rey lived in the middle of nowhere, but Rose maybe has like traveled around a bit before she found her way to the Resistance. So why didn't Rose know where to go? For example, like, she'd be like, well, I can't do this.
Yeah, Poe always
and then she can take them there, and we can keep Babu Frick. It's fine. But like, maybe she knows how to find him instead of
yeah.
There's just so much.
There's just so much she could have done, and like, she has a refugee story too background, and it's like a lot of people could, you know, relate to that. Like, I have family members who are refugee family, like, who came like from to this country, and it's just like it's heartbreaking to see that she doesn't do more, you know, in the next film. And like, you know, it's just like, she did the whole press tour. She did the entire press tour, and she was one minute.
Do you remember that someone asked JJ, what was your favorite thing about The Last Jedi? And he's like, it brought me Kelly.
Yeah. which is,
and she's just like,
I think her blue carpet interview with the Star Wars show was longer than her screen time in the movie. I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Like every interview.
Yeah.
Every
her combined interview time, forget it. That was just substantially longer than I think her role in either of the movies. But like, her just one interview, like any one interview she did, is more time than she had in the movie.
But that's why I'm like hoping that this rumor is true, that she did this whole speech and that she had a bigger part, but it just had to be cut for some damn reason. But that footage is out there, and that, you know, we could hopefully see, you know, because she's such a great actress.
Yeah.
Like the emotional depth and everything. So it's just, it's such a loss for all of us, as not only as a character, but it's just Kelly's acting. You know, like we missed this opportunity for such emotion, and she's just such a good, like, an amazing actress. Like, what a loss for us.
Yeah. And I mean, when Tros came out, I call it Tros in my head even, Rose Tico Deserve Better was hashtagged, and Crazy Rich Asian director John M. Chu even offered to direct a Star Wars series about Tico if Disney Plus was to get on board. And how awesome would that be?
That would be amazing.
That's going to be, That was some of the questions we got with let's see here. Where did it go?
No, that's someone else.
oh darn, I thought Brie was here. So Geek Furious said, I would love to focus on pushing for more Rose in the future, like a Disney Plus series where she can have expanded roles. Role. And she would be a legendary war hero by that time. So she could have, you know, done a lot more. And maybe it would be interesting to see her deal with that and maybe honor her sister. And then also just trying to live a life post-war.
Yeah. That, you know, I know Kelly is busy with so many roles. She is really popular, and I don't know if she's over her Star Wars life yet because of all the haters, and just like John Boyega, like, he's like, bye. And which is
Yeah,
great. I
once his
love him.
contract, he's like,
I love him.
peace.
So I'm like, you know what? You do you, hon. You gave us amazing Finn. So you go and you do whatever you want. You deserve it. You deserve this break because haters are horrible. And I feel the same way about Kelly. I'm like, if Kelly doesn't want to come back, I understand.
Yeah.
But I would love to see her come back and like maybe even just a limited series of her if she doesn't want to do a long one, just to like so we could have more of her for generations, for like kids who could grow up and just like be like,
yeah,
Rose headlines her own show, and because everyone's like, I saw her like Rose Tico, and it's like my childhood was all over again where I'm like, oh my god, like we got to have this, and the future generations get to look at her and be like, I'm part of this world. I could be part of this world, and actors too could look at her and be like, oh my god, we could be part of this world. And I feel like if we have a TV series, like it just would expand it more. Because I know people are like, oh, the comic books, all this stuff, but a lot of people don't read that, if you could tell. Yeah. And it's great for physical like representation, because Asian 6% for so long, and it's great. It would be great to have. She deserves it too. Like her own show.
Well, I was going to talk about Duel of the Fates. She had a bigger role in the Colin Trevorrow treatment and script. She was a badass. She was fighting. She was with Ben and Poe and Ray the entire time. Like, she was actually the first person you see other than BB-8 of the main cast.
Yeah.
So it missed opportunity again. But there's all those kind of other issues with Duel of the Fates, which we won't go into.
Yeah.
It seemed a little grim for a Star Wars movie. I'm like, you do remember this is for 10-year-olds at the end
and
of the
hope
day.
and for hope
and love and redemption. And do you remember this? But
Colin was just in a bad place,
yeah,
guys.
Colin, it was raining. Colin wasn't happy. He was just
Colin was sad.
So
So what was really great, like timing, was we found out Kelly Marie Tran is going to be in Raya and the Last Dragon, and she's going to actually be a Disney princess, which we all knew she was in real life. So now she gets to play one in the movie too.
She's the first Southeast Asian princess.
I know.
Like Raya
I'm so
and the Last Dragon, it's just like, it's great because she deserves. Like, I feel bad for Cassie Steele. She's an amazing actress. But then they got new directors, and I know they want to do a new direction regarding that. So I'm just so happy that she is just doing more, and like this, and like she deserves it. I'm glad Disney is recognizing that for her.
She's also got a new Hulu series, right? I want to
Monster.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Monsterland.
Yeah. She's like she's a bride, and like you see the blood. I was just like, oh my god, she's just so.
Totally here for
I love her so much. I'm so happy for her. She is like, I got to meet her a few times, and she's just like one of the sweetest people. Like she remembered me because I'm like the cosplayer, and like I saw her again, and she was just like, oh, like she brought up like stuff like that we talked about last time. And I'm just like, the fact that she remembers like her fans too. Like I like, it just means a lot. Yeah, she's such a and like and a lot of people told me like she's so humble still. Like even after all this stuff, she's so humbled, and like every time she meets a fan, she's excited. And so
you would think she might be like, oh no fans,
like
no fans. But the fact that she's but the fact that she's still willing, because I've seen a lot of celebrities, if they get like, they're like, no conventions, no talking, I won't even do red carpet anymore, kind of thing. But the fact that she still does that, and she knows what she means to us.
Yeah,
she knows that.
Like she knows she's loved. So that's all that matters. I understand why she's off social media. It's such a loss for us because her social media was amazing, but I get it. But I'm glad that she knows like people love her.
And sometimes you got to do what's right for your mental health, and getting off social media was what she needed to do, and it sucked that people made it so sucky for her. So okay,
but she's happy. She's thriving, girl.
Yeah, she's happy.
Like,
she got some good gigs.
She's a princess now. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I think it's definitely Bree's computer because her whole computer's freezing.
Mm.
So it might not, it's not this. So it is a technical issue on her part. I appreciate the admins for trying to help her during this difficult time. So we got some questions. If you guys have questions in the chat, please go ahead.
We had one from
them.
Hope, which I'll scroll up to in a second. Thank you,
Yes.
Bryn, for noticing my Holdo mug. The art is by Miss Liz. You can find her on Twitter. I am a self-proclaimed Emmeline Holdo stan. So,
she will be an article about Holdo by Arzu will be on the geekywaffle.com soon in the next month because we're still on our Star Wars kick, and I just have tea to be able to spill it.
So Hope's question was, if we could do a Disney Plus series about Rose, what would we like it to be about? Which I think we sort of touched on, but like, do we?
Yeah, we did. I think it would be interesting to see her, like, maybe she does all the engineering for the New Republic, or she's like, she's planning stuff.
I want her to go into politics. I want her to be a senator, like in whatever. Like if Hayes Minor, like wherever they resettle, if she became their senator to advocate for saving what they loved about the old world while also bringing it forward. That's what I would like to see.
Yeah, if I would love to see some shorts too, like some short things, like how Disney does cute little shorts. I would love to see her and Porg, like cute little Porg, like minor, quick 1 minute, like cute episodes, like that they have in between. Like something cute, like she'll name them like that, like she did in the book. So it's like, I would love to see like quick quirks that kind of like show her fun side, because we've always seen her as this tough, because she had to be, because her sister lost and she's a rebel. So it'd be nice to see some lighthearted stuff from her too. And as a series, I would like to see her on an adventure, maybe with like Finn and Jada, like and Janya, and they do their try to find like all the other rebels, like not the rebels, the other stormtroopers who deflected, and it would be nice to just see like a limited series of that. And because I know Kelly's busy and she's working on so many things, but it'd be nice to just see a nice conclusion for her, like feel like her story was concluded like in the way that like fans deserve.
Yeah, I think a limited series is good too, because then they're not holding out on like stretching out her plot for forever. They can give her some closure, and then if they want to come back, fine. If they don't, that's okay too.
Yeah, and then they could touch on like Finn and Rose's relationship, because I know we have a question about the kiss.
Oh yeah, Marshall Gabe said, "Did you feel they did the right thing after the kiss by making them just friends, or should they pursue that more?" I got some opinions that that Finn gets like multiple love interests, but he ends up with no one.
But you know what? I
got opinions.
No, I get why she kissed him, because if you're gonna die, at least kiss the hot guy. I get it. Like shoot your shot while you're gonna. It's like, you know what? I'm gonna die. You know what? You are hot. Yeah. You are John Boyega. I'm gonna.
Yeah, you're John Boyega.
I get it. Like if I'm gonna die, let my death be alive with a good kiss. But I'm glad that they made them friends, because I really, if people know me, I really hate love. Like I really don't love stories like in adventures, so I'm okay with them being friends. And like I love the idea of a woman just not having love, and she's just empowered by herself, and a man too. Like they don't need to be pushed forward by love, or like something like happens to be forward by love, because there's more than love, romantic love. There's friendship love, and that's the kind of things I love seeing, rather than like love, because I don't know. I get so annoyed when I see love. The only love I'm okay with is when it's like LGBTQ, because they deserve. But when it comes to like just love, I'm just like, like I don't know. Like I know everyone, like Leia and Han, I'm like, okay, cool. But they weren't lovey-dovey, so I'm like, okay, that's okay. But I just hate love. Like I just like no one hurt me. I'm very happy.
I hate love,
but it's just like But like, I'm glad that they're friends because Rose gets to be her own person, and then Finn gets to be his own person without being their person. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was weird that was just something that was dropped, randomly.
Yeah, it was a random shift. I would say that, but at the same time, I get it because I would have done the same.
Let's Write Pod says, no, wait. Mitch Bell says, do you feel the novelization of Rose had more depth, or do you feel she didn't get the character development that was deserved or needed? Oh, 15 minutes, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like the novelizations
They always get a bit more anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing about novelizations is like all they should do is all they usually do is supplement what's already on screen. So you can kind of see an emotion playing on an actor's face, and then in the novelization it's like, oh, they were thinking about this and this and this, which I could kind of infer through context. Or like, how they got from point A to point D. Like the novelization will cover point B and C.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be surprised by it, right?
Yeah.
It shouldn't be a surprise. It's like, oh, that's nice. It's enriching it. But the novelization kind of had this uphill battle of trying to form like something out of whole cloth. Like it's not really there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
So, yeah. It's like these are the reasons, but it's like, okay. Like not everyone knows.
Do that.
Yeah.
So you don't go into the movie with new context, really.
Yeah. Like I read it because like Rose, and like Kelly Marie Tran does it Audible. So if you guys do for Cobalt Squadron, and I love that it just expanded her story for people to relate, like of her family and what happened to them, and they had to leave and everything. And I appreciated that extra, but the book came out after The Last Jedi, so it's like, okay, I get it. But I would have loved to see, because kids don't read those books. Kids, like this is the whole, like Star Wars is meant for kids. So my niece got to see Rose Tico and be like, oh my God, like, hey, and she had little bangs and everything. It's like, it's like, that's me. And but they don't get to have a backstory unless they read the book. And I really wish that they just have little instances for these kids, because the movies are meant for the kids.
Yeah.
And like we want representation for the kids too. Like that's the whole purpose.
Yeah.
It's not for
and for us too.
Yeah,
for us too, it helps.
But us too, it's important. And I'm an adult, so it's like great. But yeah, no. For me, I'm like, if it inspires like my future, like my kin and everything, then I know that they feel like they're part of it. Because growing up, I think all of us, growing up, we didn't see ourselves, and so the fact that our kids get to see. Yeah, the fact that our kids get to see themselves, it helps, I think.
Yeah, that goes like what Kelly was saying in her article, her column, and it's just like, it's where when you normalize these when you show people diversity and stuff like that, especially in media, it's so powerful. You don't grow up thinking it's weird. Mm-hmm. Like think about like just using the example of like Will and Grace, what it did for LGBT, even though there's some issues with that series. But like, it helps to be able to see on something, especially something so big as Star Wars.
Yeah.
That so many people love. And I mean, yeah, I've been a Star Wars fan since I was 9, and I didn't really feel, at least seen in the movies, because I feel seen by Sabine. Mm-hmm. We'll talk about that later for our Zeus project. But it wasn't until like Kelly that I was like, I could be a part of this galaxy.
Yeah.
This galaxy I've loved my entire life, practically.
Yeah, it's like, it's hard, like, because, there's nobody really in Star Wars where, as a Middle Eastern woman, that I see myself. Like, I've never had that, so I'm kind of used to finding myself for other reasons in other characters, like just whether something about that speaks to me, like Padme spoke to me as a kid because she's like does by the book and she's trying to do things correctly, which is what I was like. So that's how I saw myself in stories. Still have not seen anybody in this galaxy that looks like me, at least not a woman anyway. So it's important. Like it could be implied in some of the books that maybe some of the ladies have like similar coloring to mine, but I don't know that for sure. I don't know if that was the intention. Like I would love to see an Iranian actress in a Star Wars. Like, do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
important to have those types of representation on the screen. Like live action TV at this point, I will take it. Like live action TV or in a movie, because like little Middle Eastern kids need to see that too.
They do.
Definitely.
I'm a grown up. I can deal with it. But like the kids need to see it.
They do.
Like I'm getting emotional because we're talking about just representation for kids. Like, because like I have so many in my family, and it's just like it'd be great. Like what Kelly went through, it's just I don't want them to ever have to go through that. And it's just thinking about it, I'm just like, oh, like it's just hard because it's like.
And also then just seeing that.
Yeah.
And seeing her being attacked because of her race, or even they say, oh, it's not because of racism, but they're saying racist things.
Yeah.
It's like she was saying, like, you don't feel welcome here. It's like in a fandom too, you start to like not feel welcome too if the person who represents you isn't welcomed. And I know people like were very precious with her. Like we literally just did a whole panel about her, but that's what happens when there isn't diversity and we don't have many characters. So
yeah, like I want, like everyone always asks me this, and I always ask the interview people, when will these questions like of diversity and inclusion, like when will this kind of stuff be over? I'm like, it will be over when it's normal. Like when, you know, it's like I see, instead of just one Asian person in like one movie who represents the Asian people, if I'll see like a group of them, and it's normal for us to see ourselves like. We see a Persian like character like and more than just one. We're not just gonna have one. Like with Rogue One, they had 3 Asian people in the movie. One like and it was like normal, and they all fought. And so I really love that movie. So I feel like when that is normalized, like, and when Black women are treated great in a Star Wars movie and not like as pawns.
Oh no, we can't talk about that.
But I'm just saying,
like,
I'm just saying, like, if we have like these things are normalized, that's when we could stop talking about it. That's when we could go like, oh, it's like we already are included. It's already a diverse situation. We're included, and that's when it's okay to stop. Because if we're still talking about it, it's because it still needs to get better.
And I feel like this goes without saying, but just it's a galaxy far, far away. So there is absolutely no reason it should look like what Hollywood thinks the world should look like, first of all. Second of all, there seems to be a tendency to relegate people of color to alien roles. Like it doesn't count if you've got an actress of color voicing somebody who is like purple. Like it
like
doesn't
Maz, Lupita, they wasted Lupita.
Oh, actually, that was Lupita's request, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like, she wanted to do mocap. I'm like, you want to do mocap? If Lupita asks, Lupita gets it.
Lupita gets what she wants. Yeah,
whatever she wants. But like, being like, no, well, look, we have orange and green and purple and blue. I'm like, but great, but where's the brown lady? Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So. Man, it's crazy. I'm just like, oh, she does, and I love her so much. Like, honestly, like. Kelly just deserves so much more than anything. She's just such a good soul.
I'm so excited for her to actually be a Disney princess. And Rhea is a warrior.
Yeah.
She has a sword and she knows how to take care of herself, and it's going to flip the narrative, they said, on what it means to be a princess. Yeah. So I'm really excited to hear her.
Yeah. I'm really excited that she's also like, we get to see Rose in the Lego holiday special too. Like, I was just like, oh my god,
get more than 2 minutes. I hope. So.
I hope she gets like all the time, and I hope she gets like.
What if she gets like porg time?
What if she gets a porg sweater? Like,
okay, we're leaving this. We're ending this on a happy note.
I'm gonna cosplay that. If that's the case, I'm gonna cosplay that, guys.
We'll just put some porgs in like Santa hats.
Yeah,
oh my god.
She
porg.
But you know what? I'm glad that she gets to have the last laugh kind of thing, because like, yes, like Rise of Skywalker did that, but you know what? She is thriving. She is getting that paper. So all that matters is that she is thriving, and I'm I'm fine. But I want to see justice for Rose Tico.
True.
Yes.
I do want to see justice for Rose Tico.
Well, I think we have to wrap it up. Remember, we're raising money for Make-A-Wish.
Yes.
Your donation, they are going to match the donation 33% if you use the V coins. Just click on the blue diamond. Okay, plugs. Plug yourselves. Arzu.
Okay, so I am on Twitter at ArzuMN, and I have my website, arzud2.com, and Instagram, arzud2 as well, if you'd like to, if Instagram's your thing.
Yeah.
Sure.
You can find me L Sirikul, Lsirikul, on Twitter, and L Sirik, Sirik, on Instagram. But I'm always tweeting about. I also write for a whole bunch of different websites. So you can find me and my work on Twitter. So I'm always tweeting about it. But also I'm also cosplaying. So you'll see me on my Instagram. Like I always cosplay. I always try to cosplay Asian American or Asian characters because if I feel like I get to see myself. So it's great if other people could see like, oh my God, like more Asians.
I'm sorry, my dog has a lot of opinions right now. So I'm Candace of the Geeky Waffle, thegeekywaffle.com. Arzu writes for us. We're gonna, if you go geeky_waffle on Twitter, I am Candace is a geek on Twitter, me personally, where you will see the tiny dog who makes all that noise. Yeah, we're going to be doing Hope's panel, Arzu and I, about the animation tomorrow. So that's going to be really, and we want to thank you all for letting us to talk about our feelings, because we've been meeting and rage talking.
I've been screaming in the group chat for a couple weeks now.
Yeah,
it's nice to share it with all of you.
Stupid slug.
So thank you all for joining, and thank you for showing like your love for Rose Tico and Kelly too. Like it's so great to like when I posted it, it's so great to see people like support it and be like, yes, we agree. She did deserve better, and she does deserve better, like in general. Like especially what Kelly went through. She deserves everything. Give her all the roles. I'm like
all the roles, every role. But yeah. Anything else we can think about? She has a Facebook show.
Yes. Sorry for your loss.
Yes. So
it's
go
so
watch
good.
that.
If you want to see her range too, and her with another woman, and it's like, oh, it's like
Elizabeth Olsen's
sorry for your loss. She's amazing. Like you just get to see more depth from Kelly, and like, but I would like to see her in her comedy because she's funny.
Yeah,
like I've seen her improv. Yeah, I've seen her improv, and she is so funny. So I would love to see her in more comedies too.
Okay, and well, I think we're going to wrap it up. I hope you all have an amazing Forcefest and enjoy the other panels.
Yes,
and we hope to see you tomorrow at the animation one we're going to be doing. And yes,
see you then.
Thank you, and may the Force be with you all.
May the Force be with you.